What's up guys, my name's Danny, aka Thriftfish, and I'm an online fashion reseller. I sell on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari, and for the first time ever, I'm going to be doing a video about Mercari. I talk a lot about how I'm a Mercari seller, and I've probably been on the app for about a year and a half. I don't talk a lot about it because it's always kind of been just a supplementary selling platform. However, I've always felt that it was worth cross-listing to because it is an easy platform to cross-list to, especially now that I use Vendoo. If you haven't tried Vendoo and you're looking for a good cross-listing, relisting, drafting, inventory management system, I think it's 20% off your first month, but I'll double check that. But I do have an affiliate link in description of this video, so check that out if you're interested in trying it out. Since I have Vendoo, it's really easy to cross-list to, and I get a handful of sales a week on Mercari, and it does fluctuate. But today I do want to talk about my top 10 best-selling brands on Mercari. I think a lot of people are looking for information on what brands sell best on Mercari or just how to best use Mercari. So I'm going to tell you my top 10 brands, and these are brands that I would normally pick up to sell on Poshmark. I don't specifically source for Mercari, although if there's something that I'm listing in my Poshmark closet that I know will do particularly well on Mercari, I do get excited about that, and it'll probably fall under one of these brands. But like I said, I've never specifically sourced to sell on Mercari. It just happens to be the things that I'm listing on Poshmark. A couple brands that I'm not going to mention here are some brands that I just don't typically sell as much. So things like Forever 21, H&M, Target, Victoria's Secret. I think all of those brands can do well on Mercari. I just don't resell a lot of those brands. So I have sold a lot of those in the past, especially when I was first starting, but I don't do that as much anymore. I find that bras do well. Bundles can sell on Mercari, so if you have like a lot of Loft or a lot of Victoria's Secret pink or something like that where you got them for a low price and can lot them up, that is usually pretty successful on Mercari. And just to give you a background, I do offer free shipping on Mercari, and I do my shipping through Mercari. However, I am considering switching to using Pirate Ship and doing shipping on my own so that I can cross-list more things over there that wouldn't have necessarily made sense because of the pricing and the weight and how much they charge for shipping on Mercari, because I think Pirate Ship you can generally get better deals. So I may be trying that out. I haven't done that in the past just because it seemed like too much work, but there might be a couple things where I start to list on Mercari that I will ship on my own just to see if it makes more sense. But that was a lot of I just dumped a bunch of Mercari information on you, and that's not even the point of this video. The point of this video is to tell you my top 10 brands that sell well on Mercari. So I went through and I counted up, I sorted all my sold items alphabetically and took note of the brands and counted them up. So it wasn't like the most scientific or data-driven way to do this, but I took a little time yesterday to do that. So let's start off with my number 10 brand, and I have sold 5 items of this brand. And so my numbers aren't going to be super high just because I don't sell a huge quantity over on Mercari. So these numbers might sound low, but they have the most concentrated amount of sales over time. So Gap. I don't sell a lot of Gap. I used to when I first started because I used to work at the Gap and I owned a lot of Gap clothing. There are some times where I will end up with a piece of Gap clothing that I do list on Poshmark and Mercari just because it is still a good brand. It doesn't sell for a lot of money, but it's always been reliable for me. So Gap, I have sold 5 items. The next brand, and I've also sold 5 items of this brand, is Lucky Brand. Again, I've slowed down on picking up Lucky Brand items, but where Lucky Brand clothing items fall short in my Poshmark closet, Mercari has been able to pick that up. The next brand is Lululemon. So I find a lot of athleisure does well on Mercari. I have sold 6 Lululemon pieces on Mercari. You know, Lululemon does wear it does well pretty much everywhere, but I do find that it gets a decent amount of traction over on Mercari, and have seen that other people have said that as well. The next brand is Zara. Zara, again, a slightly lower price point in most cases, and popular, trendy blogger favorites. I've sold 7 Zara items on Mercari. The next is J. Crew. Again, a bread and butter brand. I've sold 8 J. Crew items on Mercari. I tend to pick up a lot of J. Crew anyway, so the fact that there's a large quantity of J. Crew sales on Mercari doesn't surprise me. But again, a lower price point, nice, good pieces. I think the thing I would say about Mercari is it is a great bread and butter selling platform. I think people who sell a lot of bread and butter, or things that I consider bread and butter, can do very well on Mercari, because I would consider all of these brands that I'm listing off, except maybe Lululemon in some cases, to be bread and butter brands. So now we're down to the number 5 brand, and this is Athleta. So again, it's athleisure. It's actually a Gap brand, good quality pieces that don't necessarily retail for the most, but still retail kind of high. Like, they're good pieces. I love Athleta. I have sold 9 Athleta pieces on Mercari. The next brand is Torrid. I feel like this makes a lot of sense. I have sold 10 Torrid pieces on Mercari. Again, a fairly low price point, trendy pieces, accessible for plus size. It does not surprise me that Torrid does well on Mercari. I will sometimes lot Torrid up as well, and I think I've sold Torrid that way on Mercari. The number 3 brand is Madewell. So again, basic, nice, quality pieces. I've sold 12 Madewell pieces. And we can probably guess the top 2. And the top 3 are not surprising to me. My number 2 brand over on Mercari, and this again might just be the fact that I list a large quantity of these brands everywhere, whether it's Poshmark, Mercari, or eBay, but my top 2 brand is Anthropology. I've sold 14 Anthropology pieces over on Mercari, and so I did have to go through and kind of find these individually, since I didn't always start the title with Anthropology. Since Mercari only allows a certain amount of characters in the title, I will usually get rid of the Anthropology piece and just use their sub-brand. So I did have to go through and count those up that way. But my number 1 brand over on Mercari, and when I think about Mercari and I think about this brand, I know they do well together. It's Free People. I have sold 18 Free People pieces on Mercari. I find it sells better on Mercari than it does on Poshmark, and I like selling it on Poshmark. So Free People, even some of the less current, trendier pieces do well on Mercari, but those trendy pieces also do well, and they go quickly. So Free People is my number 1 brand, sold on Mercari. Again, like I said, I didn't have enough to back this up, but I find that like loungewear, bras, that kind of thing, activewear, athleisure do specifically well. Some runners up, or some brands that get honorable mention, are Sam Edelman. I've sold 4 pairs of Sam Edelman shoes. 2 were Circus by Sam Edelman, and 2 were just regular Sam Edelman. I have sold 4 pairs of Vionic shoes on Mercari, so if you're a big Vionic picker-upper, throw those over on Mercari, because those sell well. And they sell for like a good price. It's not, people don't lowball, really, I have found, on Vionic shoes on Mercari. And my last honorable mention brand is Patagonia. I don't sell a lot of Patagonia, but I think if I sold more Patagonia, it would fall higher on my list. I just don't find it a lot. A lot of the Patagonia pieces I have listed have sold quickly on Mercari, so I did want to throw that one in there. If you have any brands that you find sell specifically well on Mercari, go ahead and throw those in the comments and let me know if you have any questions. Like I said, I've been on Mercari for about 1.5 years. I like it. It's always been one of my reliable, just kind of keep it on the low. I drop prices every once in a while. I send offers every once in a while, but really it's more of a set it and forget it app. So also, if you haven't tried Mercari, I'll go ahead and put my link in the description for that as well. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you like this content and want to see more from me, I would really appreciate it if you hit subscribe. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you again real soon.